Hi, I'm Tassie and welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome home. And if you're a new subscriber, make yourself at home by clicking that subscribe button. And welcome back to the What Happened To series. So for those that don't know, the What Happened To series is a series that I do on my channel where I cover people, places, and things from the 2010s that at one time had a really big impact or a really big influence. And as time went on, they seemingly faded into existence. And today we'll be talking about the famous and somewhat infamous platform that is known as WorldstarHipHop. Now, before we get into the video, I do have to give a few disclaimers. So number one, this video is meant for entertainment / educational purposes. It is not meant to be shady. It is not meant to be scandalous. It's not meant to be messy. It is literally just to educate the people and be a bit of fun. So keep in mind that if there are any parties involved that I mention in this video, it is not for the sake of reigniting certain drama, certain beefs with people, certain little, conspiracies. It is literally for the sake of just keeping the information as accurate as possible. Now, I do understand there might be some people or some entities that do not want to be affiliated with WorldStar or any of the topics that I talk about, but unfortunately, it is not being done with ill intent. So hopefully we have that common understanding. And I also just want to give a heads up, let this be a trigger warning for all the segments in this video, okay? Now, for those that are already familiar with WorldStar, you probably don't need this trigger warning because you already know what we're going to get into. You already know, you have an idea of what is about to occur, okay? But for those that may not know, this is a trigger warning that we will be talking about some very heavy and sensitive topics. And those topics are drug use, drug distribution, violence, gore, child exploitation, human trafficking, all forms of abuse. I'm not even going to specify which ones. It is all of them, okay? So just keep that in mind. If that is not something that you can stomach, just exit out the video. And lastly, again, related to what I said earlier about how, some people might be affiliated that don't want to be affiliated. I'm not trying to be drama, etc., etc. We will be talking about a few court cases. We will be talking about a few legal cases. So understand that, again, this is for entertainment. This is for educational purposes. This is not, I'm not a lawyer. I am not on trial. I'm not insinuating anything or trying to push a narrative, okay? Okay, I have one more disclaimer. I am so sorry, but this just, it was bugging me. At first, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I need to say something. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So you'll find out later in the video the status of WorldstarHipHop and what all they got going on or whatever. But understand that since I have started research on this video, which was probably at least it's probably 3 years by now, I think. But since I started research on this video, a lot of stuff from WorldstarHipHop has changed. So there is a lot of things that I am referencing or I'm mentioning in this video that I do not have physical evidence or physical proof of. And it bugs me because I like to be right. Number one, I'm gonna be honest about that. But number two, I don't like looking like a liar. So there are certain viral videos that you are not gonna find anymore. There are certain things that I'm talking about that I have no screenshots, no videos, no clips with this, know nothing about. If you're noticing the little screenshots that I do have, sometimes they're white and sometimes they're black. That's because the layout of WorldstarHipHop has changed since then. So I'm giving y'all different things from different time periods. And one of the things that I do use, just a little bit of insider, one of the things that I do use is the Wayback Machine or archive.com. That helps me a lot when I do these types of videos and I bring up old websites and stuff like that. Honey, WorldstarHipHop is banned. They're banned. I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened, but yeah, they're banned from being archived. So I don't have evidence of a lot of the stuff that I'm referencing. I don't have evidence of a lot of stuff that I'm covering. So understand, if you don't see clips of it or screenshots of it, that is the reason why. It's not because I'm making this up. I don't think anybody would think that I would lie about this, but it bugs me. It bugs me. I don't like being made to be a liar. So I just wanted to put that out there. So now we're gonna continue, but I just wanted to say that. So yeah, that's all the disclaimers that I have for this video. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So for starters, what exactly is WorldstarHipHop? WorldstarHipHop is a blog site that specializes in various aspects of urban African American culture. This blog covers everything from music, gossip, pop culture events, and even videos that spark controversy. WorldStar is most infamously known for displaying fight videos that often went viral, as well as shock videos that would sometimes be too graphic for a public forum. In the 2000s to early 2010s, WorldStar was the best source to get content from. This blog site would often be used as source material for various news and media outlets across the world. For up-and-coming artists, being posted on WorldStar meant instant success in most cases. Not only was WorldStar a content aggregator, but the site also hosted an original web series and began to venture into other avenues like boxing, book publishing, movies, and even a deal with Adult Swim. It's fair to say that WorldStar was one of the #1 sites for information and entertainment regarding pop culture. However, in today's day and age, people rarely speak about WorldStar like they used to, and many now see the site as a relic from the past instead of a source of current information. So that begs the question, what happened to WorldstarHipHop? So one of the first obstacles regarding the success of WorldstarHipHop is probably the most infamous one, the exploitation of Black people. This is something that you will hear a lot about when people talk about WorldstarHipHop. So in order to understand how we got here, we have to talk about the development of WorldStar and what essentially shifted in that regard. So Lee Odont, also known as Q, was born in Queens, New York on November 2nd, 1973. Q spent his childhood essentially watching the development of the hip-hop culture. This became somewhat of a special interest to him, so it wasn't just about the music, it was also about the breakdancing, the remixes, the samplings of songs, the fashion, the street beefs, and everything else in between. So since Q was never really a fan of school, this caused him to drop out of high school his freshman year and began selling mixtapes out of his car. As time went on, we started to approach the digital media age. So this made Q team up with a man named Ari Armand and launch a site called NYC Fad Mixtapes. Now on this site, this is where Q would actually push other artists' mixtapes. He found a lot of success in this website, and dare I say it, this is really when he became financially stable. But unfortunately, there would come a point in time where hackers would hack the site and the site would be down for about a year. Now Q would eventually regain access to this site, but something shifted. During this time, Q started to notice another shift in how people were consuming media. So in comes in the popularization of the site YouTube. So YouTube was essentially the first place that hosted videos onto their platform. And this is when we would start to see a lot of viral videos as well as music. Q took notice of this and right then and there decided that he was going to rebrand NYC Fad Mixtapes to what we now know today as WorldstarHipHop. Now what made WorldstarHipHop so different from YouTube was the fact that it still had the core values of what Q was interested in as far as hip-hop culture. So we weren't just getting the music, we were also getting content from, you know, the underground scene of the rap scene. We were going to different hoods and we were seeing how they live their lives every day. So we would see rap battles, we would see rap beefs, we would see baby mama, baby daddy drama, scammers and boosters bragging about their come up, and a few music videos here and there. Now here's the thing. It wasn't that you couldn't find this content on YouTube. It's just that at this time, YouTube wasn't really trying to push that content. So back then, it really wasn't as much of an algorithm as what we have now. Like, given everything essentially has an algorithm or a formula, but there wasn't really much of like if you post this, it's a guarantee that at least 300 people are gonna watch it, you know? So a lot of the viral content was viral simply because of word of mouth. So realistically speaking, nobody was really going on YouTube and actively looking for this type of content, you know? Which is why we have Piano Cat and Chocolate Rain and Getting Rick Rolled essentially being the most viral videos at that time. But when it came to WorldstarHipHop was just like front and center with all of their content. content. So some of the people that found it entertaining and some of the people that could relate to said content were watching the content on WorldstarHipHop. And similar to YouTube, there wasn't really much of an algorithm. You either knew about it or you didn't. One person would share it and that person would share it, and then the next person would share it, and then the next person would probably talk about it at work, which would make somebody look it up, and then they would share it, and then they would share it with their friends, and then their friends would share it with their friends, and so on and so forth. So WorldStar became a big hit. This was very beneficial for the development of WorldStar. But as time would go on, this is when the criticism developed. A lot of people did not like the depictions that were hosted on WorldStar. They felt like it was putting Black people in a very negative light. So let's just take it all the way back. In the early stages of WorldStar, it was hip-hop based. It was a lot of music related content. You wouldn't just see music videos. You would also see the behind the scenes features of music videos. You would get exclusive interviews with specific artists or like the hot artists at the time. Now you did get a sprinkle of current events as far as like proof of like police brutality, and sometimes you would see like political things from other countries. But at this time, it was music content that was really the top content. So you saw a lot of Lil Wayne everything, honestly, not just music. Anything that was Lil Wayne, he was just front and center on the site. So yeah, Lil Wayne, diss tracks, you know, things of that nature. That was predominantly what WorldStar was. But eventually there would be times where these videos known as shock videos would start to get uploaded on the site, and not only were they going absolutely viral, but it seemed like they were overnight successes. So first off, what is a shock video? So a shock video is essentially meant to be disturbing or offensive. It is literally meant to shock the viewer. And the spectrum of what these shock videos could be, it literally is almost like limitless. So if we want to be technical, somebody experiencing police brutality and it being recorded and uploaded can be a shock video because it's brutal and it makes you feel weird and it makes you uncomfortable. But on the other end of the spectrum, that's basically child's play, if we want to be honest. WorldStar had videos of people losing their life in various different ways. They would have videos of people threatening violence on individuals as well as political figures, 18+ content, and sometimes even gore. And again, WorldStar is probably the most noticed because of the fights that are uploaded on there, but even some of the fights were a tad bit too brutal. There also wasn't much discretion when it came to children. You would sometimes see videos of children being harmed, whether it was by an adult or whether it was by a fellow child. And again, people fight, that is normal, but some of the things that were depicted, it was actual depictions of child abuse. It was actual depictions of essentially certain adults instigating fights between children and not stopping the fight as it got more and more intense. Like one video that I literally remember, and it's kind of like ingrained into my head, there was this girl who got into a fight with her mom. They were on the porch, and the title says like, oh, the girl fights her mom. The mom was fighting her. Like it was bad, y'all. Like she didn't necessarily, you know, like bleed, but it was a literal depiction of a child being abused, and it got over 1 million views, and it stayed on the site for years and years and years. We are watching a child being abused. To this day, we don't even know who was recording. Like it was wild, and it was low-key disgusting. There were also a lot of times where children were being sexualized, or children that were clearly victims of assault, they were also being like exploited. And again, WorldStar had no problem hosting these videos on the site, and there was really no protection for some of the children that were affected by these crimes either. So for example, there was a point in time where allegedly a 13-year-old girl was lying about her age on MySpace. So she met up with an older man, they got physically involved with each other, and the man ended up getting locked up. I hate to say it, but this was a typical average story that you would hear in the early 2000s. There were a lot of young girls that used to lie about their ages so that they could attract older men, and then the waters would just get muddied after that. So this became a big thing to where anytime that it happened, it would make the news. Like, it was always reported on the news and on the media outlets. But again, this is when we would have an issue with WorldstarHipHop, because given the news outlets that would report these stories, they weren't necessarily protecting the kids as much either. They weren't blurring their faces out. They weren't really, like, you know, keeping their names a secret. But in the same breath, they kind of were like being a little bit careful and a little bit more detailed in how they were conveying the story. But with WorldstarHipHop, when they would post the same news article or the same video from the news, the same clip from the news onto their site, the 13-year-old girl in question would be the thumbnail. Let me explain why that's a problem. This just puts that girl in danger. It does. It puts the girl in danger because you are essentially advertising her to other men that don't need her to lie about her age for them to find her attractive and want to deal with her. You get what I'm saying? And these people are going to use that excuse that, oh, well, she's done it before, she's lied about her age before, to justify them trying to approach her. You don't have the man that's going to jail as the thumbnail. You have the girl, the young girl, as the thumbnail. That's touchy. That is very, yeah, that's dangerous. And one more thing, I did not recognize this until I started editing this video, but also pay attention to the verbiage that is being used as opposed to where it comes from. So here I have a screenshot, the exact screenshot that came from WorldstarHipHop, and it says, "Watch out, fellows, some trifling 13-year-old female lies about her age on MySpace and gets 22-year-old locked up." Now that within itself, it clearly is meant for clickbait, but it also kind of like demonizes the child. It brings attention to the child. It's not coming from like a news reporter type of place. Whereas third parties like this one that uploaded it on YouTube, as well as the news program itself, you see that the title is just simple. 13-year-old lies about her age on MySpace, gets 22-year-old jailed. That's still in a way like puts the child as like the aggressor or like you know, like the villain of the story. But in the same breath, at least it's like cut and dry, like, okay, this is what the story is about. It's describing what's being talked about in the video, in the report. Whereas with WorldStar, it definitely is trying to push a narrative, to say the least. It's definitely trying to put it into a different kind of perspective. And that also can become problematic because, again, like I said, you're essentially giving ammunition to the people that don't care if she was 13 or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, read between the lines. So that also becomes an issue. That's also very problematic. And the thing is that it would make sense if it was a one-time thing. So, you know, that being a one-time situation, it's like, okay, you can't really knock WorldStar for doing that. You can't really get mad. It just, you know, it is what it is. But it's the fact that it's happened more than once. It's the fact that it seems as though it was a trend on WorldStar that anytime a girl was exposed for dealing with an older man or allegedly selling her body or selling her pictures or whatever, and she happened to be underage, they would always put them as the thumbnail. And the thumbnails, to a degree, would be really suggestive. The titles would even be really suggestive. So it's like, again, one time it's like, oh, okay, you made a mistake. It keeps happening though. That is when people started to perk up and kind of ask questions, because what are you doing? And like I said, this low-key was an epidemic. So it literally was every single time a girl was reported for doing something inappropriate on MySpace at a young age, made the news, WorldStar would take that news, put it on their site, and the girl in question is the thumbnail every single time. Now let's also touch on the 18+ content. Let's be real, in the day and age of the internet, none of these sites were actually actively trying to protect this content from minors. None of them were, okay? But this was also kind of another issue that people had with WorldstarHipHop as well, because at least the other content was kind of like hard to find. As a kid, you would feel a little bit intimidated going on those sites thinking that you're getting in trouble. With WorldStar, they pretty much just gave you the content. They pretty much were just like, here. Like, it wasn't really any discretion. So a lot lot of the 18 plus content, it was pretty much like comedy based or had a comedic aspect to it. Or sometimes it would be like a celebrity being leaked or exposed or stuff like that. But even still, it wouldn't be much of a warning that there was going to be nudity or that there was going to be anything explicit or anything of that nature. You quite literally could just click on the video. There was no bumper saying, hey, are you at least 18 years of age? Yes or no, even though that's not really stopping anything. But even then, it's like, that's an attempt. That's something. Nobody can knock you and say that you're not actively trying to, you know, not have minors on there. But the fact that it was too many times where the most regard that they had of protecting the children was that they would just put it in the title that it was 18 plus, or they would put it on like the thumbnail that it's 18 plus with like a censor around like the thing that we're not supposed to see, and that was it. But you could just click on the video with no problem. You could just watch the video with no issue. And then there were times where it was 18 plus content, but they never put it in the title. Like they literally just let the video be the video. They just let it play. They just didn't care. And then sometimes in a way they kind of like snuck the content in there. So one of the videos that was popular, specifically like in the mid 2010s on WorldstarHipHop, it would be Vine compilations. So Vine used to be a video platform where you would upload videos that were 7 seconds long, and believe it or not, there was a lot of comedy stored in those 7 seconds. There was a lot of info that would be stored in those 7 seconds. To this day, we miss Vine. RIP Vine. But yeah, obviously because these videos were so short, that led a lot of people to create compilation videos. So WorldStar decided to take advantage of this, and they made their own compilation videos of all of the viral moments that were happening on Vine. Now, because these videos were so quick and they were always being uploaded to the site every single day, this led for WorldStar to do weekly uploads of Vine compilations. So you get to watch these Vines of people doing cool tricks on skateboards, or like the smoke challenges, the vape challenges, I think that's what they were called. Like they would make designs with like the smoke rings and the smoke and stuff like that. You would see things like that, as well as like the comedy aspect. You would see people like Jay Versace, Dope Island, and it was very normal. It was very much like, ha, this is Vine, like this is funny. And then you would get towards the end of the video and it just shifted. Now you're seeing girls twerking. Some of them have drawers on, some of them don't. And then you're seeing people in compromising situations. That's all I'm gonna say. It just got really like rated R. It definitely did. It got rated R. And they were definitely things that weren't really typical on Vine. It's not that they weren't on there at all. Obviously they were on there, or else they wouldn't have been in the compilation. But that wasn't something that people were actively looking for or checking for. And the fact that those were there, it was weird. And not only that, there would be times where they would put it in the thumbnail. Like they would have a really suggestive thumbnail for the compilation. Now, the reason why this was so weird and so questionable is because obviously Vine was for all ages. It was for everybody. But Vine was very popular for preteens and teenagers. Children, okay? Children. And that was like the very obvious demographic that was on Vine at the time. So the concept of being a weekly Vine upload compilation, knowing that there's gonna be a ton of kids that are gonna click on these videos because they wanna see the most current funny Vines, the most viral Vines at the time, and then it just goes into that. Yeah, that was suspect. That was very weird for them to do. And again, there would be no warning. There would never be okay kids, now we're gonna shift it over to, you know, the hot and sexy. No, it literally would just play. It quite literally would just play. And just imagine that as a kid, especially if you were a prude like me. My God, that used to throw me off. That was very shocking, like very. And lastly, as it pertains to the 18 plus content, there was also a segment or like a separate part of their site that was called eye candy. Now, eye candy essentially was promoting video vixens and aspiring video vixens. Again, this is essentially a part of hip hop and hip hop culture, so it is still true to the bones of what made WorldstarHipHop WorldstarHipHop. But the issue is that a video vixen is literally a girl that just stands there and looks pretty. She might do a little 1-2 step, she might dance a little bit, she might play the love interest, but WorldstarHipHop was kind of uploading softcore say the rest of the letters? Right. And that was strange because why? Because again, it's like, yeah, video vixens are a part of hip hop culture and essentially like the music videos and stuff like that. But it's a little strange that like we are seeing these women bare. We are seeing these women do very, very, very suggestive things. And it's on a site that is supposed to be about hip hop. It's supposed to be about the music. We're supposed to be seeing things that are relative to hip hop, and we are basically watching, you know? Now with that part of the site, they actually did give you a warning that you had to be 18 or older in order to view it. So yay, I guess, but it still makes you think, like, why is that even on the same site though? Like why is that? Like, what are we doing here? So to wrap it all up, why was this such an issue or such a big problem for the site WorldStar? WorldStar promoted itself as being a platform that was all about the current wave of hip hop. It promoted itself as being a platform for rap music. Now again, if you're in the know, then you already know what all was on WorldStar. But that is how WorldStar pushed itself to the public. From the banners to the top rated videos that would be on the site, they always pushed the music videos, the rappers, the artists. It was always about hip hop. To promote yourself as being a place for hip hop, and then you go on the site and you are seeing people be beheaded. You are seeing people abusing their kids. You are seeing crackheads literally lighting up. You are seeing the distribution of the drug itself. You are seeing softcore ography, you know, fill in the blank. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And the fact that this is supposed to be a site that is about hip hop, that is what people had a problem with, because this isn't doing anything for hip hop actually. This is just exploitation. This is just a site filled with shock videos. Where's the hip hop? Where's the mixtapes? Where is all of this? Where's all the stuff that you promised? And the crazy thing is that it would be on there, but it was never the prime content. And to make matters worse is that Q said it himself that the reason why he named it WorldStar was because he took notice that all people of all races really had an affinity to what hip hop had to offer.
I mean, WorldstarHipHop was created in 2005, right?
Yeah.
And at first it was more like a blog site and had little mixtape downloads, and you know, it was just a variation of different things for everyone to come check out. And then once we got hacked and the site was down for like 7 months, you know, I decided to go full-time videos with my one guy partner that we decided to go full-time. And it just grew organically because the site, you know, it shows the good, the bad, and the ugly. And at that time, a lot of websites, especially urban hip hop site, was not really showing the gritty, the grind. You know what I'm saying? It was more like, you know, it wasn't showing that realness, you know, I felt.
Yeah.
So I decided to, you know, go ahead full stream with the videos and, you know, make it a one-stop shop, like a digital newspaper for someone to catch, you know, sports, you know, funny videos, crazy videos, you know, obscene videos, all that, all type. So
this was a site that was created to essentially teach outsiders about what hip hop culture was. So hip hop culture is children being exploited and abused. Hip hop culture is just graphic. Hip hop culture is watching two crackheads argue over a burger that they found in the trash. This is how we want to represent our community, and this is how we want to represent hip hop culture. This is what the people had a problem with. This is why so many people were very critical of what Worldstar Hip Hop represented, because it just didn't seem like it was well intended. It seemed like it was meant to exploit black people and make black people look like the butt of every joke. Now, one thing I will say, I am willing to play a tad bit of devil's advocate. Just a little bit. I don't completely disagree with WorldStar being a platform that kind of gave black people very bad representation, but I also just want to remind people that a lot of the content that is uploaded on WorldStar is not uploaded by Q or anybody that works in that office themselves. They are not the ones that are submitting the videos. Let's talk about that. They're not the ones that are submitting these crazy videos. It's usually someone that wants to upload these videos and want these videos to be seen. So we can't really fully blame the owners and Q as an individual and say that he single-handedly was responsible for this, because he did not make anybody record them beating their children and uploading it. He didn't make them do that. Okay. Second of all, there's an interview where he kind of like discloses that sometimes there's certain things that are attempted to be uploaded on the site that he has seen, and it's entirely too graphic, entirely too wild, and he had to, really go in and just completely delete it off of the site, delete it from the code, because he's just like, absolutely not.
Is there anything you get that's so crazy you don't post? You're like, hell no, that was too much.
Yeah, I mean, I see dogs eating girls.
Whoa. Yeah, you can't. That's illegal.
That's just...
You ever draw the line and say, has there ever been a video you could share with us that you said, nah, man, we can't post that?
Yes, we get videos showing beheading, just all types of weird stuff out there that's very disgusting and disturbing.
Yeah.
But, it's out there. People love to see it, but I figure that we should, draw a line when it comes to stuff like that. Just straight gore,
And second of all, like I did mention, there wasn't much of an algorithm on YouTube or on WorldStar. So a lot of the shock videos were literally going viral because people wanted to see it. They wanted to share it with other people. They wanted to send it to a friend. So in a way, it's like nobody said that this was appropriate. Nobody said that it was okay to behave this way or it was okay to have this type of content. But if you keep watching it and you keep uploading it and you keep specifically making content that that people are going to watch, it's kind of like, who can you really blame? Who can you really blame?
You guys have been criticized for almost exploiting that to an extent. How have, because the videos you show, a lot of the videos show fighting and grown folks fighting and young folks fighting, and now if a motherfucker get into a fight, what do they say?
Worldstar.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people contribute that to the downfall of what's going on in the urban community and the mentality and how our youth is perceiving these platforms to be. And they put that on y'all back. How do you respond to that, Q? Like, do you think about that? Is it like, do you have morals or principles that would keep you from doing or posting any video?
Well, with the videos that we post, I feel like, we can't paint a picture which we all love to see, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel like if we continue showing the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's going to bring awareness, good or bad, it's awareness. And I feel like people need to also talk under the same breath that we also show police brutality to a lot of these youths in the hood and harassment. And we don't, it's like watching anything on TV. You can watch, Spike and watch car chase videos or cops beating up, minorities or people in the less fortunate neighborhoods. It's all in your hand. You have the remote control. Like all videos that we post has a caption and an image where you can read it and click it. So I can't really control anyone who wants to click on a video after they read it and then complain once they see it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like, as a responsibility, as what I do as an entertainer in my business, is that I'm going to continue showing all sides of what's happening in the hood, in the community. And, it's not just fights, it's more just overall look of what's going on in the community. because it's, like I said, the police brutality is in the rise, and you know, a lot of people are thanking us. We get a lot of emails. People don't see this, but we get a lot of emails and letters thanking us for posting a video of their son or daughter being harassed or beat up. So,
and also, like I've said already, YouTube originally wasn't really that strong with representing Black creators on their platform. If it wasn't for essentially third parties like WorldstarHipHop, there's a lot of content and a lot of Black content creators that the world would not know about. So a prime example, during the jerkin movement, when jerkin as a dance style and as like a whole entire trend was making its way across the US, there were sites like justjerkin.com that had to specialize in preserving the image of what jerk culture was, because even though there were jerkin teams all across YouTube, it took for that site for a lot of these people to get noticed and to go viral, because YouTube just was not pushing that content, despite the fact that this was popular, despite the fact that this was a huge thing. And keep in mind, jerkin was a thing before the New Boys even got popular. That's something that I learned. So for years this has been in development. They didn't care until the New Boys went viral. Then you started to see the content be pushed out. Then you started to see the jerk movement everywhere. Now everybody has a pair of skinny jeans. So in a way, it was the same thing for WorldStar. There were a lot of people that were on YouTube that were Black creators that would be posted on WorldStar, and if it wasn't for them going viral on WorldStar, they would not have been able to have the audience that they would eventually have on YouTube.
Dog, the video was crazy, man. I'm talking about, dog, I ain't gonna lie, boy. You put your touch on the video. How you get involved with that?
Man, I just met it on WorldstarHipHop, and then he was like, oh, everybody want you to, you want to be in our video? I was like, okay, that's it. That's what's up. So I was like, shoot, let's go.
Did you get any recognition off of it?
Yeah, a lot of motherfuckers hit me like, I seen you on WorldstarHipHop and shit. Everybody was just calling me, hitting me up, like, yo, Instagram video on WorldstarHipHop. And they were like, asking her what's her song. DMs, I got crazy DMs about that shit. I woke up. WorldstarHipHop. I said I was at the grocery store. But that's funny because when we did it, Cuban said, you want to hit WorldstarHipHop tonight? I'm like, alright. We wasn't even finna, because we was gonna stop with the guns and shit. We had to. She just pulled that pretty bitch out. Hell yeah, and that shit went viral.
Basically, man, I don't know, man. I just got a random tweet. I woke up one day and then he just said, hit me up. So that's pretty much how that happened.
Did you believe it, or do you think somebody hacked him and was...
Nah, I didn't think it was real because he didn't have a verified account. So Steve don't really even know how to work the computer and stuff like that. So, I mean, I didn't really think it was real. So I finally got in contact with him. So, and we chopped it up a little bit, and pretty much because when I do YouTube videos, they get on WorldStar all the time, and they hit a lot of hip-hop blog sites, and that's pretty much, I'm more like a hip-hop comedian. That's what you want to call it.
And the last thing that I'm going to say, and then we're going to move on, I also do want to attest that some of these things, some aspects of them, I don't agree with all of them, but some of these things are a part of hip-hop culture. Some of them are. Some people come from really rough backgrounds. Some people did watch two crackheads arguing over a cheeseburger that they found in the trash. In some cases, one of the crackheads was their parents. And that's what led them to become a rapper to this day. Again, the video vixens. Eventually, there did come a shift in being a video girl, and it got a little graphic. It got a little, it was teetering on that line a little bit, but it wasn't always like that. Even with, the drug use and the drug distribution, this was essentially something that came from the culture of hip hop. So I will say at the end of the day, WorldstarHipHop wasn't completely off base with some of the content that they allowed on there, but in a way, I get it. It's weird because I can see both sides of the coin. I genuinely can see both of them. So I can't really say anybody is wrong in this situation, unfortunately. But yeah, either way, exploiting Black people has always been a very heavy criticism as it pertains to WorldstarHipHop, and it still is attached to the platform as we speak. So the next obstacle that WorldstarHipHop would face would be being exposed for faking content. So a few years ago, it would actually be made to the public that WorldstarHipHop actually was behind the scenes of a few viral posts that would happen on their site. So one person that spoke out against this was a woman that goes by the name Cat Stacks. So Cat Stacks is infamously known as this girl who allegedly slept with a lot of rappers in the industry and would go online to further expose them. She alleged to sleeping with people like Soulja Boy, Fabulous, Mozzie, Lil Twist, and Bow Wow. And that's just naming a few. Now, not only would she post these videos of her exposing these rappers on WorldStar, and it obviously would go viral, but it would also be speculated that she was dating the owner of the site. A lot of people were under the impression that she was dating Q. So yeah, Cat Stacks would upload a video and it would go super viral, and eventually she would become famous for this. And she would be given the label as the queen of WorldStar.
Y'all like my WorldStar swag?
But unfortunately, these viral videos came with consequences. So some of the statements that Cat Stacks would make in her videos obviously upsetted the people that those videos would be about, as well as people that knew the people personally. So this would lead to Cat Stacks being physically harmed and publicly humiliated multiple times.
Sorry you fucked with.
I'm sorry.
Everybody name them.
Bitch, you fucking up homes and shit. You
Name
think that
them,
shit cute, bitch?
Name them. Everybody.
I said apologize.
Man, apologize, ho. Apologize.
Bitch, keep playing. Apologize. You keep playing with a real nigga, bitch. I ain't gonna put my hand on no female, but bitch, I'll break your.
Apologize.
I'll have some folk come see you. I told you to my city. Anywhere you go, bitch. Don't play with me, bitch.
Where's Let's take some funny shit. Man, come on, man. Drizzle. I'm not gonna put you on WorldStar, Cat.
Stop. Turn it off. Turn it off.
I'm not putting it on.
Turn it off.
WorldStar. Straight
Cat
WorldStar.
Stacks, bitch.
Cat. Fuck the crew, Cat. Cat, I got the stunner. Here, hit a bottle, for real. Whole bottle of stunner.
The whole bottle, what you trying to
For the whole crew.
Hold on, come here.
Cat, where you going? You don't know where you at?
You just walking.
What?
Come on, you want this bottle? You don't know where you at?
You just walking. You can't be just.
Fight the police.
Ain't no.
And ironically, these videos would also end up going viral, making her even more famous. Now, despite all of the success that came with her being this controversial figure, there would come a point in time where Kat had enough. And she began airing out all of the dirty laundry about Q and about WorldStar and all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. So Kat would go on to reveal that majority of those videos that were going viral were absolutely fake. She admitted that she was making a lot of false allegations against majority of these rappers. She claims that the only reason why she did these videos is because Q personally asked her to do that so that they could get more views on WorldstarHipHop. Now, why is that? Because at this time, WorldStar had a competitor, and this competitor was called OnSmash.com. They pretty much were doing the same exact thing, having a lot of hip-hop culture embedded in their blog while also uploading shock content and other controversial but yet somehow related to hip-hop culture. So WorldStar needed an upper hand, and this is when Cat Stacks came in. Now, the way that Kat tells the story is that she met a girl named Jenna Shea. Jenna Shea was apparently an escort, and a lot of her clientele were these rappers that were being talked about in these videos. So Kat and Jenna were once upon a time really close friends, and Kat would eventually meet Soulja Boy through Jenna. She would then eventually go on to meet Q through Jenna as well, which is how they all got connected. So there would be a few times where Jenna got into arguments on the internet with other adult film stars, certain D-list celebrities, and just other industry groupies in general. And because her and Kat were so close, Kat often would jump into her fights and essentially start cussing them out. out. And this was really when people started to take notice of Kat way before the videos. But one of the main people that took notice of Kat was Q.
I'm saying, like, with those videos, was that kind of like a thing where Q was helping you to build your career by saying, you know, obviously he has a selfish interest as well because WorldsTar is getting content, but was that kind of like his idea, like, oh, do these things to these rappers and that's going to build you up?
It was Jenna's idea first, because I used to get drunk and curse people out for her.
Right.
So she had me make the first video, and she sent it to Q. And then I guess that video blew up, the first video, and he'll tell me to keep making more.
Okay.
And he'll send money. But then sometimes he'll be like, oh, you're not going too hard. Say this, do that. And then I'll send it, and he'll be like, no, it's still not hard enough.
Wow.
And then I have to do it.
So Q came up with an idea and asked her if she could go on video, essentially wilding out like how she does on Twitter, but making it seem as if she has like this tea on these rappers. And the first upload that Kat would make would be her telling the world that she allegedly slept with every single member of Young Money.
For those who don't know who I am Kat Stacks. I'm the girl that has the whole internet going nuts. I'm the one who's exposing Young Money. Yes, I have screwed the whole Young Money clique. And you know why they call them Young Money? Because they ain't got no grown ass money. They're all motherfucking roommates. So that song they made, I can make it better rock. No, I can make it burn big rock. That's a real motherfucking song, okay?
And as predicted, this was very successful. Like, it went bonkers. And according to Kat, these videos were doing so well that there would be certain rappers that would get in contact with Q as well as her, and they would come to an agreement that Kat would make a video about them for publicity.
Do you not have bad relationships? Like those artists who were seemingly mad, do they not hate you? Like it's not an unpleasant situation for you?
Well, most of them were in on it for publicity.
Wow. I didn't know that. You were dating.
Scotty Beam, not to
Okay.
interrupt. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So, all of what you were doing on WorldsTar back then was fake.
Yes.
So you never had sex with any of those rappers,
No.
none of them.
No. Well, actually, Jenna brought me out here the first time in California. And I was hanging out with his friends. And I don't know, she was the one introducing me to everyone, and everyone was mostly with it. Everybody wanted promo. They had something coming up, and back then the publicity stunt would put them like on the front page of the media.
Right.
Now, a lot of people still to this day are not particularly inclined to believe Kat Stacks, simply because she has like a reputation of being a troll at this point. So you do have to take certain things with a grain of salt. But not only that, Kat has had beef with practically everybody.
Natalie from the Bad Girls Club is letting Kat Stacks know you're a bad mom. The first thing you need to do in life is take care of yourself and your fucking kid. What are you doing? You're worried about being on WorldstarHipHop, you fucking bitch. Go get your kid back from Child Protective Service because you are the reason why Angelina Jolie, all these fucking people are adopting black babies because you can't fucking take care of your fucking kid. You stupid fucking cunt. I said it, yeah. Natalie, you're a fucking cunt. You probably don't even know how to spell that fucking word. You dumb, uneducated, stupid ass bitch.
Some girl was tweeting me. Some girl I think she was friends with was tweeting me, and then she called me. She's like, you know, stop fucking spreading your asshole all over the thing. And I was like, that's not me, that's your friend. And not, it was this other adult girl that shall not be mentioned. And Kat Stacks like got involved in it, and it became like this big thing. And I'm like, I don't even fucking know you. Like, and she's like, you're a fucking whore, da da da. And I'm like, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, not a whore. You're a whore. Whore is like, you know, no, she's more of a slut. Like, you know, you just fuck for free. I'm like, at least I have some class about it. At least in my head I do. Became like this big thing, and then, you know, she's like, well, you know, you're just a porn star and a you know, all these mean names. And then this girl that she was arguing on behalf of, she's like, I'm a model and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, Show Magazine doesn't count.
Another individual that's out there, her name is Kat Stack. I don't know if you know about her.
I am so glad that you brought her up. She's one of the girls that I was talking about in the videos. Like, I'm talking about girls getting attention for the wrong reasons. What did she do? What did she do that was so important that people are talking about? You know what she did? She allegedly, like, sorry, Natalie, just like Natalie allegedly slept with Chris Brown. These girls will use celebrities to become somebody. And I don't like that. I don't respect that at all. If I sleep with a basketball player tomorrow, let's just say, which I never would, but let's just say I did, I'm not gonna go and tell everybody I slept with that basketball player so I can become more popular. If you can't have everybody know who you are through just being yourself, then you're a nobody. Kat Stacks is a nobody. She's a nobody. The only reason people listen to her is because people are interested in what those celebrities did. If she tells a story about that celebrity, they want to know, how's Lil Wayne in bed? What does he do here and there? They don't give a shit about you, Kat Stacks. They care about what you did with Lil Wayne, you understand? But they're going to keep listening to that stupid shit because she's got the doorway to tell them what they do in their private time, you know what I'm saying? Which is sad to me.
What up? This your girl, Kat Stack. Dollar bills on my arm. Too bad I couldn't trade them in for a cab ride home. Why this bitch trying to get her friend to hit me up on Twitter to get my number though, so she can put it on a video for WorldstarHipHop? I'm Kat Stack. You know what Kat Stack don't have? That. Oh, God, you dropped money, bitches. You don't put money. This is what your bang's supposed to look like. You see her ass? You can see her ass. Bitch, your bangs come right about here. Which they need to be, because you ugly than a motherfucker. You should extend them shits to your chin.
Even as she got bigger and bigger with her online presence, it seemed like she just always had a falling out with somebody and would eventually even have a falling out with Jenna Shea, who is essentially the one that helped her get into this business.
Jenna Shea was an escort, and I was working for escort service too. And she was fucking with Lil Wayne and everybody else. And I met everybody almost through her. I met Young Money and them through her. And she got mad because she was the background hoe. Like, I was out front about everything, what was going on, and she was in the background, and she wasn't being shining the light as a star. You know how 2 Chainz and everybody else and Bow Wow and Fabulous put me in their songs. You know, everybody's shouting me out in their songs, all these big time rappers, and she's not being shouted out. So she got pissed off and, said, well, fuck this bitch, blah, 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 this is what it is. And I felt that was a disrespect because, bitch, you could still get money on the low. I still pay you, you dig? Like, you introduced me to these people and I still break you off some bread for being there for me. But she wants to shine, she wants the fame, and she can't get it. So she wants to go against me. And that's where she fucked up, because once you go against me, I ain't gonna give you no publicity, bitch. Like, okay, thank you for introducing me to them, but that's what it is. That's just it, and that's what happened.
There even came a point in time where she had disappeared from the limelight for a while, and she popped back out when Cardi B started to become very popular, because she swore up and down that Cardi B was copying her whole swag.
Let's get this straight. All them videos you do online, I did that first. That fucking black wig with the bangs, I did that first. That fake ass laugh you be doing in your videos, I did. Bruh, Cardi B showed up to the damn club last night at Sin City and they wouldn't let her in. Like, I thought you lived in the Bronx. Don't you run the Bronx? Don't you famous? But they don't let you in the club.
I think there's a difference between you and Cardi B because, I remember you for being the woman who just talked about having sex with different rappers or artists or whatever it is. And I think Cardi B is just a stripper who, thoughts and has no problem talking about being a hoe. I thought there was a difference. Is there a difference?
Well, I think earlier we were talking about Cardi B's more of a comedian.
Well,
she's
she
trying to be funny.
She makes fun of her
She clearly
wholeness.
seems to be trying to make a joke. That's what it seems to me.
Were you joking? Like, did you?
Well, Worldstar Hip Hop actually testified in court that it was all publicity stunts and it was all fake web reality show for his website. So back then, I used to just wear wigs like Cardi B wears now, and I used to have a fake annoying voice, and it was kind of like comedy. So
you were trying to be funny.
Yeah, it was just like comedy on the website like 5-6 years ago. And I guess the way they see her now and me, everybody always texts me, tries to compare us on Twitter or Instagram. And I never really paid attention because it was just on Instagram. I was like, oh, who cares? But then she ended up on Love and Hip Hop, which I was going to be in the Atlanta one. And then that's when the drama started.
And lastly, people question the validity of Kat because she eventually went to jail. And the moment that she got out of jail is when she started exposing Q and WorldstarHipHop. Hip Hop. So that had a lot of the general public thinking she's working with the FBI. But according to Kat, this is what actually happened. She would eventually come to the realization that Q was controlling her. Because the thing is that Kat essentially is an illegal immigrant. She immigrated to America from Venezuela at the age of like 8. And by the age of 14, she unfortunately got caught up in the world of trafficking. And this was due to the fact that she was dating a man at this time that was way older, and he essentially got her caught up in the lifestyle. So she never finished high school, and unfortunately she did end up getting pregnant by the man in question that got her wrapped up in it. So by this point she didn't really have that many options. So she did some of everything, including being a stripper for a certain amount of time.
Well, like I had testified in court and in the book that I met him when I was around 14 and a half. To me, I used to like be a tomboy, so I was always with like gang members or like drug dealers and stuff, and I didn't have a boyfriend. You know, I wasn't a pretty girl or nothing. He approached me, and you know, he started taking me out to. He even came to my house and met my family, and you know, my family used to like feed him. He used to watch movies and stuff, and you know, I was a little girl. I thought, you know, oh wow, you know, I have my first boyfriend. I used to like try to run away from home before, and I always got caught. So this time he was like, oh, come with me, I'll change your life. You come to New York and blah, 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 blah. So after 6 months of like dating this dude, I decided, okay, I'll come with you. And when I ran away with him, like maybe like a week later, a few days later, that's when he said, you know, we're running out of money. You know, it's time we gotta have a shelter and food to eat and all this stuff. And he said he knows a way to make money. And that's when he started, you know, spitting the game to me to like work on the track, on the street. And when I refused, he like almost beat me to death. And that's how I got turned out into who I am today. Like, he gave me that name, Kat Stacks. Before I used to like bow down to a man. Like, whatever he would tell me to do, like jump, you jump. Like, you know, in the pimp game, you have to keep your head down, not look at another man. It's all about work, 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 and money, money, money. You don't have a mind of your own. And I put up with it for a lot of years. And then, you know, like when Ike and Tina, how she just hit him back one day, and, you know, she just found the strength inside her. That's the same thing that happened to me. And it was like an amazing chapter in the book.
So when she made this deal with Q, she made this deal basically because she just really needed the money. And she felt like this was a good opportunity because for the first time, she didn't have to sleep with anyone to get it. And that's no shade. This is her words. This is all what she said. But not only was she getting money, she also attests that Q also went out of his way to give her a house for her mother, and her child to live in, as well as a car.
So are you completely done with that lifestyle?
Yeah, Q actually took me out of that lifestyle.
How did you meet him?
In Atlanta, through Jenna Shea, model. She introduced me to him, and he just told me that he'll take care of me, and I don't have to be a stripper or have a pimp or work anymore. And I was just like, he's kind of like a sugar daddy. I was getting deposited every month and working with him.
So he was helping build your name up and looking out for you, taking care of you.
Everything was good and everything seemed like it was looking up until Q decided to deal with a woman who was a female rapper, or an aspiring female rapper at the time, named Sierra Leone. So apparently once he started dating Sierra Leone, she became the main focus not only for Q, but also for WorldstarHipHop. And eventually, she apparently would take the name as the Queen of WorldsTar. So this would make Kat Stacks take notice, and from that point on, it was low-key beef between the two. And oddly enough, this beef also made Kat realize that Q was holding a lot of opportunities away from her. He noticed that Sierra Leone was getting a completely different kind of treatment compared to what she. As far as the jail sentence, let's talk about the jail sentence. Kat would also go on to clarify that she never was arrested on criminal charges. She was arrested by ICE. It was an immigration charge. It was not a criminal charge. She does not work for the FBI.
Now let's talk about immigration. You were in court and they were going to deport you?
Yes.
And why?
Because of the videos on WorldStar, they said I was promoting prostitution and I was supposed to be a victim since all my charges was when I was underage.
And you were in jail for 2 years, right?
Almost 3.
3 years.
Wow, so for prostitution?
Yeah.
No, because they changed the laws for immigrants in 2009. So if you were convicted in the past and you weren't born here, it doesn't matter if you have a green card, citizenship, you gotta go through deportation.
Back. Yeah.
So I had like gun charges, prostitution, and other stuff.
And how did you end up staying? How did you end up not being deported?
Because everything was on file when I was underage. Like the FBI had my case, the National Children's Exploitation Center, missing children's report. So we brought my family brought all the evidence that, look, she's a victim, you can't charge her, she was underage. And Q testified for me saying I wasn't gonna make any more videos. And they released me and gave me a green card. But while she was locked up with immigration, she had plenty of time to really sit down and think about everything. And as soon as she got out, this is when we started to hear the stories of Q and all of the happenings of what was going on with those videos. And as you can imagine, her coming out and saying these things came with consequences. So keep in mind, this is all alleged, but allegedly after all of this news started to break, this is when Q would take the house and the car and start to withhold the book deal that Kat was writing and detailing about her life.
You feel like they've really kind of stalled out your career and everything for those 3 years because you basically weren't able to make any videos, or were you able to like host parties and do the other stuff that you were doing for money? Or
I don't think it ruined me, because when I got out, everybody was contacting me for like shows or doing stuff, and Q wouldn't let me work.
Really?
He said that I need to take time out and be with my family, and didn't let me do nothing. I was just getting a deposit every month. And then I got tired of him.
And so you broke it off?
Twice. And then he was paying for the house I was in with my mom, and he took that away. He took my mom's car away and did all that stuff while he was alive.
Wow.
And then try to ruin every type of career stuff I ever tried to do.
Really?
Before he died, yeah.
Well, like what other kind of stuff were you trying to do at that time that didn't work out?
Well, Wendy Williams wanted to do a show, like invest in a show of me. And he didn't let that happen. Vice wanted to do a documentary. He didn't let that happen. And he just did a bunch of stuff, and I used to get lawyer letters like every week from him. Just doing dumb shit. And then when I try to fight back, I don't have as much money as him, so I can't keep writing $500 letters.
Right.
He was just very annoying.
Damn, what was his motivation in doing that?
I guess he felt that I didn't appreciate him. How he helped me not get deported out the country. And I just ran my mouth and acted like a little girl.
Right. Damn.
This is also when she would decide to take the legal route and actually pursue legal action against Q. But unfortunately, Q would pass away before they even came to an agreement.
My ex-Q, so we're having like legal battles, and I can't do certain things because of him. So
your ex-Q. So you and ex-Q from WorldstarHipHop were actually dating?
Yeah.
Didn't know that?
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I didn't know he was a complete psycho until like we separated.
Psycho how?
Well, he has me like on a contract with him, so I'm not really like allowed to do much. And if I do try to work with anybody, he'll send them a
cease and desist.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
He's trying to stop your money.
He tried to stop everything.
What did you do, man? You break his heart or something?
I guess you can't mix business with pleasure.
Okay.
So, anybody out there, do not sign with Worldstar. They try to ruin your life after if you don't want to work with them.
This interview might not go up on Worldstar then.
All right, so now that you're out, it's rumored that you've changed your life. I'm not sure for sure what's really going on in your life. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have going on now?
And changing, it means that I'm not going to be making any more entertainment videos for WorldstarHipHop like I did in 2010, all the controversy. And I'm just moving on to other things out of WorldsTar with new management, with Tashi. And we're just working different deals right now with like TV offers or like other people who want to publish a book besides WorldstarHipHop. So I'm having problems with Q. And just, you know, starting over again.
Having problems like legal problems or just issues?
Legal issues with WorldsTar.
Okay, gotta run the check. Understand that.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, me and Q have fell out, the CEO of WorldsTar. And I don't have a contract signed with him for management except for the book, which is being published under his name. So since we're having issues, he's trying to hold on to the book, and he wants me to sign a disclosure not to talk about WorldsTar. So it's like a lot of beef going on.
So that book is coming out though.
It's up to him.
All right, but it's supposed to be coming out soon.
It was supposed to come out on October 15th.
Right, in a couple weeks, so it's still up to him.
We got lawyers on him right now. So now either we
and you got him on him?
Yeah.
Okay, Olivia Pokeface ass. Damn, okay. We got lawyers on him. It's nothing. Turn down Q. Ain't nothing. WorldsTar, world nothing.
Now keep in mind, this is just about Cat Stacks, but there have also been reports of views on WorldsTar being fake as well. And we would first get wave of this when 50 Cent had a fallout with the owner Q, but we also can see this in a video that I found while I was doing research as well. There was an artist named Morgan Jr. who exposed the whole entire process. So to summarize his video, you could upload a video, they email you what you would pay for, and you would think that you're paying for promo, but realistically, you're paying for the views.
If you have invested any money in WorldstarHipHop.com, I haven't. I did my research first. I'm gonna give you guys my research. So first of all, if this is your simple procedure as an independent artist, you know what I'm saying, you check out Worldstar Hip Hop every day and you're like, man, well, I'm an independent artist and I need to get my music buzzing. You're basically just trying to find promotion out here. You know what I'm saying? It's not that, you know what I'm saying, you're not buzzing or you're not hot or you don't feel like you're cold enough or you're not big name. You're just trying to find promotion and spend your money to promote well. So the first thing you do is you try to go to the top tier website right now that everyone's talking about, which is WorldstarHipHop.com. And we've already know 50 Cent's exposed it. So I'm going to break down the science for anyone who does not understand this. If you are a partner with YouTube and you are collecting revenue, because that is what your whole intention is with YouTube, is to collect revenue off of your own material, you need promotion. YouTube does not single down one demographic. They single to a multiple large amount of demographics. So there's no possible way that you can promote hip hop music in just YouTube. But with Worldstar Hip Hop, you can. Unfortunately, there's a problem with that. So the first thing you do is you say, damn, Worldstar Hip Hop is the hottest place that everyone goes for hip hop music. So you figure, hey, let's contact them. So you go to their video submission page. You read all their information. Tells you their email address, include the title, description, video URL, basically, and you know, your YouTube link, because that's the only way that YouTube is going to be able to pay you for the advertisements that they put on your page. So you must remember that this is a WorldstarHipHop.com video. We're not going to talk about a YouTube or AdSense video today, but if you want to make sure you connect all revenue off your AdSense account, make sure that whoever you're promoting with wants to use your YouTube link. That is your heart, your soul, your YouTube link. So they actually just upload it to SendSpace, probably because they even want to scam you further, because they know if you're not smart enough to use your YouTube or your AdSense, this is how they're going to gyp you. So first of all, they tell you to send them all this information and blah, blah, blah to WorldstarHipHop.com, and you're all excited and you get ready to fucking tell all your friends like, yeah, man, I'm about to be on WorldstarHipHop.com, and you know what I'm saying? And by the way, that's the video I'm working on. Anyway, so you get this email, wow, Worldstar Hip Hop. They contact you back and they tell you, some kind of whack bullshit like, well, sorry, we don't add any big name artists that don't have big buzzes on YouTube unless they pay a fee. By big buzz, we mean 5,000 legit views per one single video. 50,000 actually. So if you think about 50,000 views, if you are already grossing 50,000 views on your YouTube alone, you do not need WorldstarHipHop's Hip-Hop's help, and you would not need to pay them. So anyways, but you're thinking like, fuck it. You're not that big of an artist. You're not the Wayne. You're not 50 Cent. You're not Jay-Z. So you're going to go ahead and spend your money because that's what your budget's for, to promote your artist, to promote you. So you go ahead and think like, oh, well, damn, $650. Oh, and $750 to diss a popular artist, $1,500 for these commercials. It's like, okay, well, these prices seem a little oddball. They're kind of in range, but they're kind of not in range. So in some aspect, you start doing your figures. I mean, and stay with me, fans, because what I want to do is I want to explain everything to you. First of all, you need to look at the cost that it's going to cost you to promote this. So if you spend $650 for them to promote a video on WorldstarHipHop.com, that sounds great. Let's do something. Let's do some math here. So if we scroll down to a Worldstar Hip Hop video that was uploaded at what date? February 25th. That's today. It is technically 8:06 a.m. in the morning that I'm doing this video for you guys. This game managed to gross 87,000 views. But no, let's break it down to you. I want to show you guys maybe something a user submitted so you guys don't get lost, so that all my independent artists can understand what I'm saying. What they'll do for you, unsigned hype. Sorry, unsigned hype. You have been randomly picked out today. Now, for you guys who don't understand it, I'm going to go even a little more deep because I did this research yesterday. I went a few days back and I found another unsigned hype. Sorry, D-Boss. You've been picked out today. And when you go to her page, and I mean, if you think about it, for $650 for back to where I left off. Sorry, and think about this too, D-Boss. I'm giving you some promotion. Anyways, you have a great 15,000 views for $1,600. That's excellent. You know what I'm saying? Powered by YouTube, Worldstar Hip Hop. Let's go check out your channel. Wow. Now this is the great one that I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, then I do not mean to talk about you, but 802 views. If you spend $650 for 802 YouTube views, 3 dislikes, that's not fantastic.
So you'd submit your YouTube link, and the views from WorldStar will also contribute to the views on your original YouTube video. However, in Morgan's video, you can clearly see that the views on the original video are not the same as the views on WorldStar. Not to mention, when you break down the external source of the video in which the video is promoted on, it still doesn't showcase the views that are depicted on the site WorldStar.
Let's go a little deeper, my fans. I want to break this down to you. Thank you, my goodness, I found the most greatest video. Sorry, D-Boss, I had to point you out on this one. Worldstar Hip Hop. 203 views. Wow. On the dates that they put your video on, I'm so sorry to point that out, but that is incorrect because on the Worldstar Hip Hop, you got 15,000 views. So either there's something going on here or Worldstar Hip Hop is ripping off their customers. Because at some aspect, I'm not a dummy. Let's go back to my email now. If we go look at the email when I was talking to them, and I was like, okay, because they try to run that one on me. As any gullible independent artist would do, because you want to get a big name buzz out there. So I asked them, do I get to collect off my AdSense account? Hours later, he says, I believe so. We're using YouTube API. Well, how wouldn't you know? I mean, you're in the business to advertise. Why wouldn't you let anyone know that obviously we put promotion on here and we're going to be promoting on your video other advertisers or other advertising accounts on your video. That's why they put that Worldstar Hip Hop stamp on there. So I said, I did a little research and I just got a question. How come the video plays on the site are much larger than the YouTube accounts? He says, no clue. Probably an issue with YouTube. Now, if you really respond like that, you have to be stupid because I know you don't make no more money than Google. Yes, I'm pointing that out. You do not make more money than Google, and there's no problem with YouTube. YouTube will ban you in a heartbeat instantly for cheating their advertisers. So WorldStar, do not try to pull the wool over my head. So I asked him even a little more deeper. But if I pay, that will allow me to host through YouTube. Basically my link, so I collect my revenues. No response. WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop has nothing to say about that. So basically, I just wanted to point out that if you're planning on advertising on WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop and they want you to pay this fee and they popped up and even if you do got a big buzz and you're wondering why you're getting this email, it's all part of their advertising. It's all part of their scheme to reel you in, to make you feel like, oh, this is the great thing, and you know what I'm saying, this is a great package and we're helping you out. And no, for $650 for that many views, that's a great deal. And if the views were real, then it'd be great. See, what they're doing is they want you to believe, instead of buying the views, because buying views aren't good neither. They will also get your account banned. So the way to find a promotion company that is going to get you real views is to do a little research and stick to a substance that you do know. If you do music, then you do want to find hip hop sites that you do visit regularly, that you do know are grossing real views. Sorry for the real-time promoters or the independent artists that are on WorldstarHipHop. Hip Hop. I'm sorry that you had to be pointed out. But thank you guys for watching. If you're planning on promoting on worldstarhiphop.com, my advice to you would not be.
So by the time 50 Cent started to speak out against WorldStar, this is when the dots would start connecting and a lot of what Morgan Jr. had said would become relevant. So 50 Cent would go on to point out that there would be videos, specifically music videos, that the general public didn't like, and somehow these videos would have 1 million views.
Worldstar is fake. All of the hits, it's fake. Those people pay for those hits. You know how you see the video and you be like, yo, this shit is whack. Why I got so many hits? It's because they sit there and they press Apple, and then they press R, and then it goes view, 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 and you look, and the shit went up 500 times. You know, so if you hear artists talking about they hot right now because they own Worldstar and they got a bunch of hits, you know, they could have bought a package. They could have just paid for it.
And this didn't sit well with 50 Cent. For starters, there were people that weren't aware of the alleged fake views, so they would start to believe that this was the state of the music industry. Even though WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop was known for shock videos and fight videos, there were still people who tuned in for the actual hip hop as well. The site gave a lot of people a glimpse into what was current in the world of hip hop at the time. So when people started to see these subpar artists seemingly making it big, people became disinterested in hip hop as well as WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop. For those that were somewhat aware of the fake alleged videos and views for content, this made the unfiltered content they enjoy become less attractive. Now it was clear to the audience that there's a likely chance that the video that they were watching was completely staged. It took away the authenticity of what the site used to represent. And as time went on, people began to catch on and began searching elsewhere. So the next issue that WorldstarHipHop would face was now being accused of stealing content. Not just faking it, stealing it. So before we dive too deep into it, let's talk about what a content aggregator is, because I know I've mentioned it a few times by this point, and y'all probably have no idea what that means. So a content aggregator is a platform that gathers content from other forms of media. So this can be the news, this can also be social media, any form of media. This is essentially where all of it comes together and it gets redistributed. In a way, think of a department store. Ralph Lauren is Ralph Lauren, Chanel is Chanel, Starbucks is Starbucks, and Finish Line is Finish Line. We all know this, right? We all know that these are essentially different entities, these are different companies, and they have no affiliation with each other. However, if you were to walk into a Macy's, you would see all of these places coexisting with each other. That is essentially what content aggregation is. So in the early stages of the internet, you basically had at most like a MySpace page or your email address. Pictures and videos were shared amongst the people that you were already in affiliation with. So even the blogs that specialized in gossip and entertainment news had to rely on people submitting their own photos and submitting their own videos. So YouTube was a content aggregator for videos. Places like Instagram and Twitter are essentially aggregators for pictures. And then you have sites like Tumblr and Reddit that are vastly different, but they are also considered content aggregators because you can get some of anything on there. So once you post something on these platforms, it is now accessible to everyone. That's kind of a given, right? But just because it's accessible to everyone now does not mean that it no longer belongs to you. So you can't stop someone from downloading or screenshotting one of your photos, but you can get a page taken down and even potentially sue a page if they are using those photos to pretend to be you as an individual. So is everybody on the same page? Does that make sense? Did I explain it well enough? Hopefully I did. We're moving on. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, like I said, WorldstarHipHop was essentially a content aggregator. It eventually became content aggregation after it stopped being NYC Fad mixtapes. So again, majority of the content that is being uploaded on WorldstarHipHop is not a creation of WorldstarHipHop itself. These are coming from individual people. Individual people have to be the ones to upload this content onto WorldstarHipHop, meaning that unless it explicitly says that it is a WorldstarHipHop original, it does not belong to WorldstarHipHop. However, it would be reported across the internet that there have been multiple times where WorldstarHipHop has allegedly stolen content from other people. So there is a Reddit user that goes by the name Shino Beast, and they tell a story about how WorldstarHipHop took one of their friends' gameplay that they had uploaded onto YouTube and decided to upload it to the site WorldstarHipHop without this person's permission and without giving them credit. So this is how the story goes. The video showcased a gameplay of someone in a Call of Duty lobby using a soundboard using Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
I can't take it anymore, it's hilarious.
This is an A and B conversation. See your way out of it.
It was gaining views by the minute, but around the time of this post, the video sat around 100,000 views. At some point, the Redditor took notice that this same video was uploaded onto WorldStar 2 days after the video was posted on the original YouTube channel. According to the Redditor, they did not give the original owner credit, nor did they link it to the YouTube channel. However, they did mention the OP's Twitter. But all in all, they posted it without contacting the OP, giving proper credit, and putting ads on the video, but not giving the revenue to the original poster. So sometime after this post gained traction and the OP contacted WorldStar, they decided to take the video down, re-upload it with the proper credit, and link to the original video and gave them their owed revenue. So even though this is great news, this would not be the first or the last time that WorldStar would be caught up in a situation like this. So I want to refer back to Morgan Jr. real quick. In his video, he mentions a site called sendspace.com. So this was essentially a secondary option for people that wanted to post their content onto WorldstarHipHop. So you could either send it through the site directly or you could send it to SendSpace. But the thing is that if you sent it through SendSpace, your video wouldn't be linked to the video that is posted on YouTube. Your link to your original video will not be posted on the official site of WorldStar.
If you are a partner with YouTube and you are collecting revenue, because that is what your whole intention is with YouTube, is to collect revenue off of your own material, you need promotion. YouTube does not single down one demographic. They single to a multiple large amount of demographics. So there's no possible way that you can promote hip-hop music in just YouTube. But with WorldstarHipHop, you can. Unfortunately, there's a problem with that. So the first thing you do is you say, damn, WorldstarHipHop is the hottest place that everyone goes for hip-hop music. So you figure, hey, let's contact them. So you go to their video submission page. You read all their information. Tells you their email address, include the title, description, video URL, basically, and you know, your YouTube link, because that's the only way that YouTube is going to be able to pay you for the advertisements that they put on your page. So you must remember that this is a WorldstarHipHop.com video. We're not going to talk about a YouTube or AdSense video today, but if you want to make sure you connect all revenue off your AdSense account Make sure that whoever you're promoting with wants to use your YouTube link. That is your heart, your soul, your YouTube link. So they actually just upload it to SendSpace, probably because they even want to scam you further, because they know if you're not smart enough to use your YouTube or your AdSense, this is how they're going to gyp you.
So by this point in time that this information is being reported, this was around the time where I think YouTube had just launched their monetization program. So again, just imagine if you did just so happen to get 2 million views on a video from WorldstarHipHop, but then you look at your YouTube channel and you're not even past 10K. By that point, you're missing out on money. By that point, who's getting paid off of this? Because it's not the original owner of the video. Now, I did come to the understanding that people did get paid for their content going viral on WorldstarHipHop as well, but considering the fact that majority of this content was originally on YouTube, why not get both of the revenues? You see what the problem is? And there would even come a point in time where somebody took WorldstarHipHop to court because of this situation. A man named Robert Scott would sue WorldstarHipHop.com for copyright infringement in 2012. Okay, first of all, I'm starting to notice that usually when I have to interrupt the video because I'm editing, I think I keep wearing the same shirt. And that's not why y'all came here, but I just wanted to say that I clean up. It's just, this is a really comfy shirt, I guess, so I just be wearing it. Okay, so anyways, because this is not what you guys are here for. You're here for something completely different. Okay, so here is how the story goes. So there's a man named Robert Scott. Scott and a woman that he was dating at the time apparently got into a really big altercation, right? Now, unbeknownst to him, there was a guy named Omar Seymour who apparently recorded the whole entire altercation between the two and decided to post it on WorldStar. Now, it's not confirmed as to why or how it happened, but apparently Omar gave all of the rights to Robert Scott, and apparently even all the money that came from being promoted on WorldStar. So they already had, like, I guess you could say, like a settlement outside of court, even though they never decided to go to court with it. But what's important to note is that this is a situation that happened December 3rd of 2010. By December 4th of that same year, basically 24 hours later, Scott ended up getting the copyright to said video. When he got the copyright for the video, he basically contacted WorldStar and told them, hey, can you please take this video down? Because basically it just made everybody involved look bad, and he didn't want that to be a part of his reputation. And not only that, this happened during the time that he was in college, so that also made the college look bad. And if you've ever been to college, you know, yeah, they don't play about their image. But see, the problem is that Scott would contact WorldStar, and to no avail, the video was still available on the site. Time would go on and on and on, and it was just still there, still getting a bunch of views. So Scott decided to take WorldStar to court because he's just like, hey, this is my video. Regardless of who initially uploaded it, I now have all the rights. I have all the money that came from this video, and I do not want this video of me to be posted on your website. I would like for you to take it down. WorldStar just continuously didn't acknowledge it, I guess, just kept ignoring Robert. So the next thing you know, Robert Scott decided to take them to court. Now, ultimately, WorldStar won. WorldStar won the case just because of this one simple thing. Now, there is a rule known as Rule 12 that once a claim is filed, the defendant has 21 days to respond to the claim, whether it's to take the content down, decide to sue them back, or to come to an agreement outside of court. Now, the plaintiff, which is Robert Scott, filed the claim within 12 days. So where Robert Scott messed up was that he filed this claim within 12 days. So in legal terms, he did not give WorldStar enough time to actually take action to the claim that he created. But the other reason why WorldStar won as well is because of the DMCA Safe Harbor Act. So DMCA stands for Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So the DMCA Safe Harbor is a certain criteria that online service providers absolutely have to meet in order to be protected by liabilities and copyright. So in this case, WorldStar technically cannot be held accountable because ultimately they had no idea that the Omar guy and Robert Scott had a deal with each other and gave the rights away. That was something completely out of their jurisdiction. WorldStar held up their end of the bargain, which was to host the video, as well as give the original poster their cut of the money that they made from the views. So they weren't aware that there was an exchange of rights or an exchange of money or anything like that between these two parties. And on top of that, they weren't given enough time to even fix the issue, whether that was to delete it or whether that was to challenge them in court. And lastly, because you know I'm like a little bit into law and stuff like that, another thing is that the terminology that you use when you are suing people is very important as well. Robert Scott essentially kind of insinuated that WorldStar was keeping the video up with malicious intent, like to purposely defame his character and go against his wishes. But again, in reality, WorldStar just did what they were supposed to be doing. The video was submitted already. It was up because the person that submitted it wanted it to be up. So now that you have ownership of it and you want it taken down, how is WorldStar supposed to know any of this information? But yeah, for WorldStar, it definitely got that serious to where they had to go to court because of a video that they decided to host on their page. This became a huge issue for the succession of WorldstarHipHop because people started to dislike the idea of content being taken without their permission. Because of how big and impactful WorldStar was, especially at this time, people knew that once it hit WorldStar, it was going to be life-changing. Whether it was good or whether it was bad. But unfortunately, majority of the time, it was bad. It was very bad. So other than Cat Stacks, there would be times where people would go viral on WorldStar, and that would lead to people getting physically harmed or having their names completely tarnished. So I'm gonna name a few, and yes, I had to write them down because it's a lot. There was a viral fight that was titled, "This is why you don't do all that talking and pick a wrong fight. Girl gets rocked in locker room while her friends watch her eat all the punches." And yes, that is the title. That's why I had to write it down. Because again, back then there wasn't really an algorithm. It was just trigger words. So yeah. That's the title. And in the video, it features a girl famously known as Jade. Now, the way that the video is set up, the audience is supposed to believe that Jade is essentially bullying this girl that's wearing a gray shirt. The girl in the gray shirt has her hands behind her back and she's seemingly very timid and very shy. But as the video plays, we see that the girl is not as shy as people think, and she eventually ends up winning the fight between her and Jade. So after the video went viral, Jade would actually sit down with Sean Cotton from Say Cheese TV, and she began to tell her side of the story, and it definitely seems completely different than what the audience was led to believe. As it would turn out, the situation seemed to be a miscommunication between Jade and the girl in question. What actually led up to the fight was actually the friends instigating the whole entire situation. In a way, they were setting Jade up.
It's been real crazy, man. I really don't know where to start, from, you know, the fight to after the fight to celebrities talking about it to the joke to the Twitter to the Instagram to the WorldsStar. What really happened? And people are making it out to be you're some type of bully and, you know, stuff like that. So tell the world what happened.
Well, honestly, it was a minor fight. I mean, it led to something, and one thing led to another. And the fight was actually 3 weeks,
right,
which is the funny part. I woke up out of nowhere and like calling me, Jay, go get on Twitter. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, you're a trending topic. So I'm looking, everybody's like, I'm a bully. And I'm like, how am I bullying? Y'all know the situation.
Like, what happened before the fight? Like, what caused that, the fight in the locker room?
Okay, what caused the fight in the locker room? We had an argument about a guy. From my understanding, the guy was, I guess, her best friend's boyfriend, and they were beefing. And it was like, he said, she said. According to her, I jumped in her business. So my thing is, leave the guy alone. I mean, he can do what he want to do. We're in high school. Everybody's for everybody.
Right.
We know this. Everybody's goosing everybody.
Exactly.
You know, so things happen. Okay, and that's not even business first.
Okay, so do you the friends that urged you on to fight, you know, was instigating, are you still friends with them?
No.
Do you feel like you should? Do you feel like you won the fight?
Honestly, it wasn't. It was more of a. It was a bullying incident to a certain extent.
Right.
And I feel like the whole thing was a setup because she was in the restroom and I went to the restroom to go get my wallet. I had no idea that she was in there.
Right.
And then it became a thing of Jake, are you following me?
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not following you. And I'm looking at them like, okay, so it's a setup.
Right.
So then it's like, y'all gonna fight, y'all gonna fight. And the video comes on. I'm acting a fool. I'm trying to provoke her to see what she's gonna do.
Right.
Me personally, we have 15 minutes left to class. Who's thinking that we're gonna fight tomorrow?
Exactly.
So
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay.
So I mean, things happen, and I'm like, okay. So she still hasn't done anything yet. It was about to be over, and then I touched her. She swung.
So if you could go back in time, would you have changed? Would you have not fought? Would you have fought her again? Or do people want you to rematch?
Yes, a lot of people want me to rematch, but honestly, I feel like there's no purpose.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, come on now, we getting too old for this. We're fighting over something irrelevant. First off, it wasn't my business nor her business,
Right.
so there was really no mutual ground for us to be fighting about. And dog would rematch her, and not that I'm scared I'm gonna get whooped or anything like that. It's just, why fight her again? It happened.
Right.
You know, and plus, I still have to worry about. I have to go to school.
Right.
Eventually, I'm gonna want to get a job.
Exactly.
And there's other things I have to worry about. I cannot have my employer Googling me like, oh my God, this girl was a fool in high school.
So Jade had no idea that there was an issue, that there was ever even going to be a fight. She had no idea what she was walking into, and it got to a point to where she had no choice but to defend herself. It has been 12 years since that video went viral, and the way that there are so many people that still do not know the backstory to that situation to this day is astonishing, especially because the backstory was also posted on WorldstarHipHop. But the fight, unfortunately, was the one that went viral. Now, thankfully, she was one of the few exceptions. She gets to live her life normally now, mainly because she took the situation on the chin and just went about the rest of her days, and people over time kind of sort of just forgot about it, so she gets to live a normal life. But others, unfortunately, were not so lucky. So another infamous fight video titled, bear with me, out of nowhere, Sharkeisha confronts girl and Super Falcon punches her. You effed with the right one, so wrong for this. Also known as the Sharkeisha video. So, about the Sharkeisha video. The Sharkeisha video stars Sharkeisha and another girl named Shamichael. So Sharkeisha and Shamichael apparently get into a disagreement, somewhat of an altercation. It's unknown exactly what it is or why, but basically Sharkeisha is confronting Shamichael. The video starts out very calm. It doesn't seem like anything is really going on. You can definitely feel the tension that's going on, but seemingly out of nowhere, Sharkeisha gives a really hard punch to Shamichael. And from that on, they just start fighting. And due to this video going viral, this would lead to Sharkeisha actually getting arrested for assault. And it didn't stop there, because even though a lot of people seen this as comedy and it was laughed at and it was joked about, there were also a decent chunk of people that felt like this attack was entirely too much and entirely too violent, because Shamichael during the fight was not fighting back. Shamichael kind of gave the impression that she wasn't even much of a fighter. But again, this is based off of the video itself. We don't know that.
I was just in shock. I was like, oh my God, like, did she really do this? Like, you're supposed to be my close friend.
17-year-old Shamichael Manuel says she never saw the hit coming.
Hey, we was talking in school and everything. She just made it seem like there was nothing wrong with her.
Manuel believes she was set up by that former 16-year-old friend and a group of other girls all over a boy.
No, you were supposed to be my what you was going?
It is very, like, hurting and crushing to me.
The cell phone video posted online after the beatdown has gone viral, and Sharkeisha, the girl seen punching and kicking, is getting worldwide notoriety. Her name has even become a popular hashtag and internet meme.
The video's just going, and they're making jokes and they're taunting. They're really like, they're glorifying the girl Sharkeisha, but they're taunting my daughter at the same time.
Olivia Henderson says her daughter is being victimized again and again.
You know, I was in the grocery store yesterday. Girls, and the late girl was checking out my groceries, and the baggers were just laughing and talking about it. And I said, that's my daughter in that video, and their whole facial expression changed.
In just a week, Manuel has recovered from her black eye and busted lip. But knowing that people are laughing, sharing the video at her expense has made it impossible to completely heal.
I'm gonna have to deal with this for the rest of my life. How would you feel like if that was your daughter or your son and that happened to them, how would you feel?
So this whole situation just kind of made it seem like Sharkeisha was this big, gigantic bully. So unfortunately, this led to somewhat of a witch hunt. There were a lot of people that actually wanted to throw hands with Sharkeisha on behalf of Shamichael because they just felt like that was so nasty and so unfair. And it even got to a point to where it was reported that Sharkeisha had got shot and killed in a drive-by shooting because people were that devastated of the video. But thankfully, it would be revealed later on that that was a hoax. Somebody made that up just to get people riled up. But this was still bad. This was still terrible because, number one, the fact that somebody would make up a death, that is wild. That's number one. Number two, like I said, there were certain people that just did not like how that fight came off or how it seemed. So there were certain people that were actually rejoicing at the idea at Sharkeisha, a teenage girl, passing away due to this fight. But it's not even just about her. Think about the girl Shamichael. The fact that that became a meme, the fact that people still use it as a meme to this day, the fact that people were laughing at it, and essentially what we're seeing is you be completely off guard, completely defenseless. How do you think that makes somebody feel? Because keep in mind, these are both children. These are both children. This is a lot, and they have no control over how the tides go when it comes to situations like this. So that is the point that we're driving home, okay? The idea of suffering the repercussions of a video that you didn't even post, that you didn't even consent to being posted on the platform, that became very questionable for a lot of people because things were starting to get really serious. People were getting arrested, people were getting physically harmed, people's whole entire lives were changing, and that just put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Have people been noticing you out in public or calling you, and who have interviewed you so far?
I mean, VH1 called and TMZ called me. 106 Park, got a couple calls from them. People do notice me out in public. A lot of people ask me, why was I bullied? That was the main question. And a lot of people don't know, first off, that the fight was 3 weeks ago. Secondly, that it wasn't just me bullying her, it was something that happened previously.
Exactly.
So they don't understand that, and it's like, okay, Jay, you're a bully, and some people's like, you got what you deserve. And I don't know if y'all heard the song, but y'all can go listen to it.
Oh yeah, how you feel about the Be King track?
Honestly, I feel like you're a grown ass man. You're 32, I'm 15. If I'm not worried about you, exactly why are you worried about me?
Exactly.
Can you explain that to me? Me personally, I'm upset because you put me on WorldstarHipHop.
Right.
I'm 15. I have a life ahead of me. I'm not done by far.
Right.
You know, I still have to worry about, okay, am I going to get a job with this?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure people in colleges, deans, you know, important people know about this.
Right.
I'm going to eventually want to go to college and pursue my career, but how far am I going to get trying to pursue my career when I have a fight from high school? And people look at that.
So yeah, as time went on, it was just certain things that just weren't funny to the general public anymore. Now, the next obstacle that WorldsStar would face would be their lawsuit with the rapper 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a gangster rapper from Queens, New York, who was very popular in the 2000s. Not only was he successful in music, but he was also regarded as one of the biggest rappers turned entrepreneurs next to people like Jay-Z and Sean Combs. 50 Cent went on to create his own record label, G-Unit, which hosted a lot of well-known artists we know to this day, such as The Game, Lil Scrappy, and Rotimi. He would also go on to release a book about his life, create 2 film production studios, become a shareholder for companies like Vitamin Water, owning a mine shaft, and that's just all he did before the 2010s. So during his prime, he was a very powerful and recognizable man. So it wasn't surprising that hip-hop platforms would use his imagery. But this is when he ran into a problem. There would come a day, at some point, 50 Cent caught wind that the site WorldstarHipHop was using his image and his likeness to promote the site. So again, WorldstarHipHop is supposed to be a hip-hop blog. It is not completely far-fetched or crazy that a hip-hop blog would post a hip-hop artist, right? And for WorldsStar back in the day, it wasn't abnormal for them to have pictures of different rappers as background photos or even as like main banners. The rappers in question were actually an integral part of the design of the website. But the problem that 50 Cent had with WorldsStar was that they were using his image for mastheads. And this happened between the years 2005 to 2009, for 3 years straight. And this was so frequent and so dominant on this site that for a long time, people thought that 50 Cent owned the site. They thought that he made it and he was running it. That's how much his face was being used. So again, it was perfectly fine that his image was being used in the sense of being one of the many rappers that they were promoting. But they apparently were allegedly using him so excessively, like before anybody else. And for it to be that excessive and they never had a licensing agreement, 50 Cent didn't take well to this. He had a huge problem with this, and this started a feud. Now, for those who aren't familiar with 50 Cent as like an individual or like a personality, it is a common joke amongst the black community that 50 Cent is essentially a supervillain, because when he gets pissed off or he feels disrespected, there is no chill. He takes it all the way, and he will keep going and going and going until he gets tired. Because see, the average person, they would just sue. They would just sue, wait for the court date, stay quiet, charge it to the game, right? Never in a million years will 50 Cent stay quiet if he feels like he's disrespected. So yeah, this became a legit beef. This wasn't just, okay, I have a problem with Worldstar Hip Hop as an entity. It was now a problem between him and the owner, Q. Now there was beef between these two.
That sucker's on the phone. Don't what's up me, you sucker. Don't what's up me, you sucker. I should black your eye.
Talk some shit, gonna black my eye?
I said, don't what's up me, you sucker. Tell him I was on my tour bus in 2003, you punk. And you created an area where everybody can try and hate on me. You know you're a punk. You know you're a punk, Q. You know I'm the wrong one to even be playing with.
I never was a punk, B. I was a good dude for you.
Yeah, you's a sucker. And you know not to keep playing with me anyway. So I don't know why you keep pushing me until I gotta do. Don't tell me to chill out. Don't you ever tell me to chill out, you sucker. You're nowhere near my caliber of breed, punk.
Okay.
You know that. So front for Angie or anybody else there, and they'll be watching. They'll watch on the Channel 7 News, you sucker. You know how I get down. Now play with me if you want. Play with me if you want. Play with me if you want. You see the suit and tie, you think I clean all the way up like that? Watch me show you some of the old me. Keep playing with me, Q. Keep playing with me. Don't you ever try to front. And on the radio, I dare you to try and say something crazy.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a sucker.
Okay.
That's why you come. If you're in New York, you come to my office and we sit down and we talk. Don't you ever talk to me on the radio. What? I told Angie she could go and put you on the radio because you know better, because you knew no better.
Come on, man. I ain't trying to talk to you on the radio. I'm trying to talk to you one-on-one.
All right, then you come to the office and we sit down, and that's it.
All right, we'll talk.
We'll talk later. We'll talk later. Ain't nothing to talk about on the air. You heard me.
One more thing. I forgot. So also keep in mind, during this time, 50 Cent was actually in the process of creating his own website called This Is 50. And that site essentially was like the same as WorldStar. So a lot of people kind of like took this initially as like, oh, 50 Cent is jealous of WorldStar, or he's trying to like overturn WorldStar. But realistically, what it was that it was hard for This Is 50 to launch off the ground because people thought that it was, like he owned WorldStar. So they were confused because they're like, okay, why are you making two different WorldStars? That doesn't make any sense. So it wasn't just a situation where WorldStar was competition, but it also was a situation where it was just muddying the waters a tad bit too much, and it was now like affecting the business practices that 50 Cent was getting ready to go into. That's essentially what the problem was. So that adds another layer as to why like 50 Cent was so charged about the situation. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, but I discovered that while I was researching as well. So 50 Cent is now practically going on press tours to diss Q. He is writing diss songs at this point. The exposing of the inner workings of how they are allegedly faking views and content and so on and so forth, yes, that all had to do with it. All of it was relevant. And this beef would go on from 2009 all the way until 2014. Yeah. Yes, it would. And that was also around the time that the lawsuit got settled. So in case you didn't know about 50 Cent, that's him. That is him. So, yeah. And when I say that 50 Cent is so petty, this is what I mean by so petty. He won the lawsuit, but he never got a payout for it. There was no damages paid. He didn't do this for the money. This press tour was not for the money. The dissing was not for the money. It literally was because he just felt like it. So yeah. So it's fair to say that this whole situation was the tipping point for Worldstar Hip Hop. Because again, this feud went on for years, from 2009 to 2014, right? Conveniently during this time, there would come a point in time in 2011 where the site completely shut down. Like, you could not access it, you couldn't do anything with it. So 50 Cent, as well as the general public, just assumed that this was because of the lawsuit that was going on between 50 Cent and Q.
Ladies and gentlemen, the craziest shit happened. Supposedly 50 Cent snitched on WorldstarHipHop and their page got sized by the fucking Department of Homeland Security. Shit is crazy. Rumors are that 50 Cent made $50 million just for fucking closing down WorldstarHipHop.com. We do not know if it's true or is it having problems, difficulties, or something. But Q from WorldStar haven't wrote shit on fucking Twitter saying nothing. Nobody's saying shit. So we have to believe what 50 Cent said. If he said he closed it down, I believe it, because that motherfucker crazy. And he a snitch.
What the fuck? 50 Cent, Curtis motherfucking Jackson just shut down a powerhouse like Worldstar Hip Hop. Y'all gotta stop underestimating that nigga. That nigga got motherfucking paper, man. That's what I'm trying to be. Worldstar Hip Hop, my nigga. Apparently he sued them because, you know, they used his image without his permission and all that shit. And pretty much he got the kind of black money where he can go back and forth with these niggas all day. But apparently he got $50 million just for shutting these motherfuckers down. That shit's motherfucking crazy. Crazy. So 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, Boo Boo, shut down Worldstar Hip Hop. Everybody create yourself an account on this50.com, because that's what's going to be going down there.
Worldstar, it got shut down a couple days ago. Okay. When I found that out, the same day that I found out it got shut down, I swear I wanted to have a heart attack. Worldstar Hip Hop is like my CNN. You know what I mean? Like, I get all my entertainment like mostly urban entertainment news from Worldstar Hip Hop and MediaTakeout.com. So those two sites, if I want to know anything about the latest rapper, latest R&B singer, latest video model, or anything like any like scandals going on in the urban community, I will go to WorldstarHipHop.com or I'll go to MediaTakeout.com. So when I found out that Worldstar got shut down, oh my God, you guys don't even understand. I almost had a heart attack. And then I went to the website and it would not work. I was like, these people are serious. They shut it down. How could they shut down such a great website? I bet you they're making millions off this website. Why would they shut it down? And then I found out that an idiot that I cannot stand. And you know, people, I don't like bullies, okay? You guys know I've been bullied all my life, so I'm not a fan of bullies at all. So this idiot, from what I heard, was the reason to why this website got shut down. And this idiot goes by the name of 50 Cent.
What's up, everybody? I'm just here to inform you, and you probably already know and you want to hear more about it. 50 Cent got Worldstar Hip Hop shut down for copyright infringement or whatever, and he tweeted about it. Instead of like trying to hide it that it was his fault, he gloated about it, he tweeted about it. He shut the whole site down, and he said, you have a problem with it, I'll shut your site down too. He's running lip hard.
Y'all, Worldstar Hip Hop, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I love to go on there and watch the funny videos and all that good stuff. I've been trying to click on there all day, and evidently according to, let me check out the news. It's called News One for Black Media. It says that the feds shut down WorldstarHipHop.com. And I'm guessing it says that 50 Cent, it says on Twitter that I'm reading the ad while I'm talking to you guys. It says, Rap Godfathers. Last year, as well as several other torrent sites, rapper 50 Cent has claimed that he is responsible on Twitter. It says, I put Worldstar to bed. You don't believe me? Try me. I will shut your shit down, laughing out loud. I mean, excuse my language, y'all. And it says, I don't know why people underestimate me. I just shut down Worldstar for future advertising. Contact this is 50.com. Suckers laughing out loud. Wow.
And right now I'm coming to y'all with this emergency video because I know by now y'all all know that Worldstar Hip Hop has indeed been shut down by Homeland Security. Homeland Security seized and shut down WorldstarHipHop.com and on Smash because of copyright infringement. You know what I'm saying? Because they put a lot of videos like they put out music videos, goddamn NFL clips, NBA clips, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that they otherwise wouldn't have permission to put out. You know what I'm saying? But shit, I mean, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Worldstar Hip Hop be having the latest, greatest goddamn music videos and shit like that. Goddamn celebrity beats, all this other type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully some innovators will step up. You know what I'm saying? And fill their shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because I fucks with Worldstar Hip Hop a long way. You know what I'm saying? But they are gone. Probably not coming back. You know what I'm saying? They're probably facing some pretty big lawsuits right now. So she's pretty fucked up.
So I tried to find the original tweets, but of course 50 Cent cleaned up his Twitter like most celebrities do nowadays. So this was the best that I could do. I apologize, but I'm going to read them to you now. So he goes on to say, I don't know why people underestimate me. I just shut down WorldStar for future advertising. Contact thisis50.com, suckers, LOL. I put WorldStar to bed. You don't believe? Try me and I will shut your ish down, LOL. Now, since the last two are blocked by the logo, I had to take the initiative to actually look for the original tweets themselves. And thankfully, one of the previous videos that I showed you guys, which was Pepito the Turtle, he actually had a copy of all of the tweets in his description box. So the last two tweets read, I predict 2 more websites will shut down this week. Take a guess who they are. I'm sick of the hate. I'm too strong. I want to thank Howard Gordon and the good folks over at Homeland. Ha ha ha, suckers, your move. And these last two are also in Pepito the Turtle's description box, and I didn't see them posted anywhere, so I'll read these as well. So he goes on to say, I never lose. Q should have known better. He can't afford to go back and forth with me. Send your video to boobootv.com. Myself and Floyd Mayweather have provided a new site you no longer have to pay. Me and Floyd Mayweather don't think WorldStar was good representation of black people as a whole. We will present better. It would later on be revealed that it was more like an internal technical issue with the website, and it had nothing to do with the lawsuit or the complications between WorldStar and 50 Cent. But by this point, people already believed it, and not only did they believe it, 50 Cent already ran with it. He already took the crown of being the person that shut down Worldstar Hip Hop.
It's Hot 97. I'm sorry. We have to jump in, E, because I have somebody on the telephone that's got the internet in a frenzy now. Curtis!
Yeah, it's me, baby. I just woke up, man.
What do you mean you just woke up?
Nah, it's just the WorldStar that, is down. The website is down.
Yeah, no. I know you've been up because we've been watching your tweets. So if you also just woke up out there, what's happening is Worldstar Hip Hop got shut down. There's a thing on their site that says the Homeland Security shut them down.
Yeah.
Then 50 got on Twitter and said that you put them to bed, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they've been put to bed as we speak.
As we speak, it's being shut down.
As we speak, they are. Actually, 2 weeks from now, we go to mediation to find out exactly how much they owe me for using me as advertisement of WorldStar for 2 years straight.
What do you mean? What by using your picture?
You don't remember that it was 2 infringements at the same time, Angie. They was utilizing the I Am robot,
right? And
it had my head on the actual.
So let me get this right. So they used your images. You took a lawsuit to, and is that what shut? Are you saying that's what shut them down?
No, we were going to go through that process for a while, you know.
Okay.
When you're on Twitter, I'm entertaining, you know. I'm just entertaining people, you know. But I actually don't know. I might know somebody who could do it, but I didn't do that.
You didn't shut
Why would I do a thing like that? Because I can?
Oh, wow.
Yo, who are you? Who are you? So you're saying you didn't shut them down. You're just doing entertainment on Twitter, right?
Well, you know, and look, if I robbed the bank, I wouldn't tell you I did.
Right. But you might get on Twitter and say maybe I did.
Maybe I did.
Right. Got it.
You know what I mean? Like it is. You know, it's up for the public to decide. It's like the same way we're entertained by the possibility of things going wrong. You know, so the public builds you and then they want to destroy you, right?
Right.
Right.
And once the word got out, still to this day, there are certain people that believe that 50 Cent is the one that shut it down and that Q was basically just lying about having technical issues because he was embarrassed. Because again, if you know 50 Cent, it's not far-fetched. It is not far-fetched for this man to do that. It really is not. But yeah, after the lawsuit with 50 Cent, the site was not the same. It just was not the same. Reason being is because now the inner workings of this site has been exposed. By this point, Cat was starting to speak out against the situation, as well as 50 Cent pretty much airing out the business. Both of their stories kind of go alongside each other, even though they've never met each other, never talked to each other. And this was also around the time where people started having serious conversations about if this site was a good representation of black people. WorldstarHipHop was now in hot water. There was a lot of controversial things that were going on at this time. This is when everything kind of came to a head. And this is when the site would then go through another shift and we would start to see the site cater more to aspiring and upcoming rappers. And this was partially due to the fact that during this time, drill music and trap music was starting to become very, very popular. So thankfully, in a way, WorldstarHipHop was able to still keep itself afloat and kind of sort of did a rebrand. But those that know and those that were present when all of these situations were occurring, they can attest that WorldStar was never the same. And this was kind of the moment where WorldStar became kind of a downfall. Reason being is because a huge celebrity just spoke out against you during all of this chaos. And not only that, people didn't only come to the site for the music. They came there for the whole enchilada, the everything. And now the everything is gone because of this lawsuit, because we don't want to get in any further hot water. So yeah, WorldStar took that hit. They might have ate the punch, but they definitely took that hit and it was never the same. Now, many people would believe that the lawsuit between 50 Cent and WorldstarHipHop was the nail in the coffin, but I am here to tell you, no, it was not. The final nail in the coffin for WorldstarHipHop would be a silent killer that nobody saw coming. And that was the development of TheShadeRoom. So conveniently, within the same month that 50 Cent won his lawsuit, a woman named Angelica Nwandu would launch TheShadeRoom Instagram page. So Angelica always had a desire to be a writer, but she followed the path of accounting and insurance to gain a sustainable life. At some point, she decided to take a leap of faith and lean into writing as a talent a bit more. With a bunch of free time on her hands, this led Angelica to deep dive into celebrity and influencer gossip that was circulating at the time. With no one to talk about it with or an outlet she felt comfortable posting on, she decided to try her hand at running a gossip blog. But the problem was that she didn't have money to launch a website or obtain an LLC. So she decided that she would use the app Instagram to broadcast her findings. And this move would be proven to be beneficial because within the first year, her page would get 10,000 followers. The more controversies that happened, the more Angelica posted it. And time again, the followers would roll in. And eventually, TheShadeRoom would become the juggernaut that we see it as today, with everything celebrity gossip, current events, and specifically as it pertains to black people. WorldstarHipHop now had competition and it was hard for them to keep up. But Why is that? WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop was already an established brand that had been in existence for at least 10 plus years and had plenty of money and plenty of resources. So how could this one social media page be such a threat to their brand? So like I said, this page was literally launched within the same month of 50 Cent winning this lawsuit. The image of WorldstarHipHop Hip Hop is already tainted, and they were already starting to shift into new content. People were now aware of the fake views and the fake content, allegedly. People were already kind of leaning away from WorldStar. But what was keeping WorldStar relevant was the fight videos, was the drama, was the shocking content. Because like I said, they started to really attach themselves to drill music and trap music. And if you know anything about those eras, there was a lot of drama, a lot of controversies with a lot of those artists. Drill rappers from Chicago specifically, because there was a whole trend where a lot of them would beef with each other, and that would result in certain people, you know, not being on this planet anymore. Sometimes it was even depicted. Yeah, because again, we're talking about WorldStar. It's not shocking. So WorldStar still had some remnants of that gritty feeling that people loved to watch. But it wasn't the place to get the news anymore, especially as it pertained to Black culture and Black people in entertainment. So this is when the Shade Room was able to slip in and do the job for them. But not only was the Shade Room doing that job, you also have to think about how effective the Shade Room was at this time. What the Shade Room did was take advantage of an app that already had traffic and already had a system set up. You didn't need a whole separate app or a whole separate website to get the news. It was right there at your fingertips. You could get the information in real time. You could see it the same time that you're watching the people in question post these things. It was absolutely brilliant. And secondly, back in the day, Instagram had a feature where if you were following said celebrities, there was a whole tab where you could actually see what they liked, what they commented on, what they interacted with, who they followed. So that also just fed into it, because you're seeing all of the drama in real time while also getting a description and a summarization of what's going on. This literally was a new experience for a lot of people, because back then, even if you did follow gossip blogs, you had to wait until the people reported it. With the Shade Room, you got the report in the same breath. Angelica wasted no time reporting the news, none. If it happened on Monday at 2 p.m., you were at least gonna know about it by 3. You no longer had to wait 24 hours. You no longer had to wait until 6 p.m. You quite literally could do it right then and there, and you got to see it with your own 2 eyes. So yeah, even when it came to viral videos, 9 times out of 10, the Shade Room had it before anybody else did. And another thing that gave the Shade Room the upper hand was the fact that celebrities were actually interacting with the Shade Room. The Shade Room never reached out for these people to say their piece or to conduct an interview. The Shade Room didn't have banners and imagery to even promote or show appreciation or likeness to these celebrities. The celebrities themselves voluntarily came onto the page and told their sides of the story. The celebrities would even sometimes tag the Shade Room, message the Shade Room and say, hey, that's not right. Talk about this, talk about that, say this, say that. Again, something we had never really seen before. And lastly, of course, I wouldn't say that the Shade Room was as out there or as raunchy as WorldstarHipHop used to be, but they kind of had their own wave of out there content as well. Because now we are no longer in the era of video vixens, we are now in the era of influencers, but at this time they were referred to as IG thoughts. So the term thought is actually a very outdated way of calling someone a slut or a hoe, but the term was originated from Chicago and it just kind of stuck over the years. So the Shade Room did often talk about the thoughts or the IG thoughts in question, as well as what is referred to as thought culture. So there was an era of the Shade Room where this was their out there content, basically. They would post these famous IG models doing thirst traps and twerk videos or anything else that was considered suggestive. The Shade Room also used to post fight videos. but obviously they were shorter because Instagram only allowed 15 seconds at that time. But yeah, they sometimes would post fight videos or promote certain fight videos and stuff like that. So essentially, the Shade Room was posting the good, the bad, and the ugly of black entertainment, as well as black people that took up the internet space. So they basically had similar content, they just had different ways of putting it out there. With WorldstarHipHop, it was more of a come to me approach, whereas with the Shade Room just came to you. And that's what made the Shade Room blow up. So to wrap this segment up, what did this have to do with the downfall of WorldStar? So WorldStar always had competition, but never like this. Now that we were in the realm of social media being the place where people got their news, actual physical websites were now second fiddle. People now wanted everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. With WorldStar, you couldn't really do that. You had to actually actively go to the site and get that information. They posted basically little clips or little previews on their Instagram, but nothing that was actually ever, here you go. You get it? And even when it came to virality or being successful on the internet, people no longer had to leave a website and go to another website and look up your name. You could just get tagged in a post and people would be able to follow you on the same platform that they found you on. But not only that, this was the prime time for WorldStar to lock in. And instead of locking in and trying to make themselves a little bit more presentable on social media, or even presenting themselves as a social media platform themselves, this is when they started getting into different avenues like boxing and trying to get on Adult Swim. So now that Cat Stacks is locked up and facing deportation, what are you gonna do now? You don't have a viral moment, you don't have anyone that's actively trying to come to the site, you don't have any content that's making people come to the site. There is literally nothing else to do except pivot, and from the looks of it, WorldStar didn't do that. The people wanted more, and they wanted it quick, and they got that through the Shade Room. But as for WorldstarHipHop, they struggled. So usually I end these videos by giving you an update on what the people in question are up to as of today. But for starters, this is the first video in this series where I'm actually talking about an entity and not a person. So we can't really do that. But not only that, the person that we could talk about, which is the owner named Q, we can't really give an update on what he is up to or what he's doing because he has unfortunately passed. So in January of 2017, the owner of WorldstarHipHop that we know as Q would actually suffer from heart failure in a massage parlor. Now, it wasn't clear if it was a heart attack. They just keep reiterating that it was a heart failure. And the people that know him personally did attest to the fact that he was taking medication for a condition called myocardial infraction. So yeah, people have said that he took medication for that, but it's still unclear exactly if that was the cause of the heart failure. Now, there are certain reports that have said that this was actually due to his weight and have identified him as morbidly obese. Now, I'm not in the medical field, so I can't tell you that or attest to that, but I will say that I've seen bigger people be labeled morbidly obese. I don't know if he was morbidly obese. I think he was just big and that was people's way of trying to be funny. I don't know, but either way it goes, it hasn't been officially reported what caused the heart failure. It just has been reported that it was a heart failure. It has also been reported that he had an enlarged liver and fatty liver disease, and that's probably the main reason why a lot of people assume that it is related to obesity, because these are things that are commonly found when people are diagnosed with obesity. But again, it hasn't been reported. It hasn't been officially reported that that was the reason for the heart failure. But yeah, unfortunately, Q has passed away. So 2 years after his passing, the ownership of WorldstarHipHop did go to his family. And after the year 2020, the company MedLab AI Incorporated would begin to take over. And they are still currently the stakeholders of WorldstarHipHop, in case anybody wanted to know. As for the state of the site today, I would say that it's still relatively similar, but if you go back and try to look up certain viral moments or certain videos, you will see that there is a significant amount of stuff stuff that has been deleted. Like the links are still available and the thumbnails are still visible, but if you click on them, they just will not work. Not sure if that's a technical issue or if they were deleted intentionally or what. And like I briefly mentioned, there was a point in time during 2016 to 2019 where WorldstarHipHop did try to pivot and they started to lean into drill rappers and trap rappers. And this is when we did start to see a lot of famous rappers that we know today, like Playboy Cardi, Uzi, and YBN Namir, just to name a few. But yeah, once that Media Lab company took over, it seems like the site and the YouTube channel took a significant nosedive. Now the average video that is posted through WorldstarHipHop can barely get 100k views, regardless of who it is. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is what happened to WorldstarHipHop. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like this video. Comment down below any moments that you remember from your days of being on WorldstarHipHop, and comment down below if you think that WorldstarHipHop also has the potential to come back, because you really never know. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and of course share if you can. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Impossible. Lay night when you need